Hello guys, how you doing? This is Shadrach. My name is Shadrach, and today I'm going to bring up I will say it's a controversial questions that kept lingering in the African community. It is an unpopular opinion, my own view. It is an unpopular opinion, but mind you, such question in the first place will not come into existence in the Western world. While you listen and digest what I'm trying to, my point of view, you can also criticize me, but you are welcome. Criticism is allowed, is welcome, because that's how we grow. And the reason why such discussion will not come into place in the first place is because in the Western world, there's what we call respect and boundary. Respect and boundary. So this is the question: whose counsel, whose advice, whose opinion should a man listen to after he got married? Whose advice, whose opinion should a man listen to immediately or after he got married in his house, in the family? First of all, I am not a marriage expert, neither am I a relationship counselor. But believe me, I got an opinion, just like you got yours. And you are welcome to criticize it. You are welcome. Criticism is part of life. If you want to grow, you should be able to take criticism. So my stand, my view about this discussion is unpopular in the African community, simply because we Africans, we are so attached sentimentally. And even though we got married or we are married, we still find it very difficult to leave our house, to leave our mother, our father behind. If after we got married, we are still our mother's boy, we are still our mother's, we find it very difficult to let go of our mother, of our father, whoever you like most among them. But mind you, I have to make you understand that this kind of discussion, before you even think of choosing between your wife and your mother, first of all, you have to define the role. Who is your mother and who is your father, or who is your wife? Your mother is the person, is the woman that brought you to this life. Thank you to her, and we appreciate. She brought you to this world. We appreciate that. I appreciate my mother every day by day. I say thank you to my mother for bringing me to this beautiful world. And her position can never be taken. She cemented her position in my life, to my heart. One of the most important places in my heart, she stood that place. I will say thank you to her. But she's my past. And my wife is the woman I went out there to search, to look for. I asked to help me build my future. The woman I've chosen that I want to build my future with is my wife. So she occupied the most important place in my heart. She becomes my priority, my first and foremost priority immediately I'm married her. She's my partner in crime. She's my part-time partner in love. She's my partner in decision making. She's my partner in everything. It is 50-50. We share 50-50 stake in the marriage. So she's first and foremost, not my mother. My mother is married to my wife, to my father. So my mother is first for my father, not for me. She's not married to me. She's married to my father. So my wife is my first priority because she's my future. The person I went to look for to build my future with. In as small, I have to do everything possible to make my mother happy. In as much I have to do everything possible to make my mother happy, I must make my wife happy. Those are two different statements. In as much I have to make my mother happy, do everything possible to make my mother happy, I must do everything possible to make my wife happy. So there are two different statements, must and have. I have to do everything possible to make my wife to make my mother happy, but I must do everything possible to make my wife happy. So my mother cannot take the position of my wife. Neither my wife can take the position of my mother. So there are two different important people, important person that occupy a special place in man's heart. But a man must be able to choose his wife because it's your future. In the African world, that we are so attached to our mother to the extent that you will see men saying, "Oh, if my mother wants to come to my house to stay with us, okay, she can come sing and stay in my house as much as she likes. If my wife is not comfortable with that, my wife can pack her load and go." Bro, husband, or bro, or man, with that mentality, you will end up having 100 wives in your lifetime before you die, because of your inability to choose. Because of you don't even have to choose. That is even the problem. You even thinking of choosing, that's where the problem starts from. When you got married, immediately you got married, you must be able to set your boundary. That's what I said. In the Western world, everybody knows their boundary. Your mother knows that she does not have any right to interfere with your family, so she stay her position. She doesn't come to interfere because she knows it's not that duty. She's not welcomed. Her opinion is not welcome. I'm sorry. Her opinion is not welcome in your house because this is your family. That is why it's said that if you are not ready to get married, don't venture into marriage. Don't venture into marriage if you are not ready to get married. If you are not, it's a cross that you have to carry alone. It's a cross that you have to carry alone. So you involving your parents, your family, in your marriage in the first place, that is the beginning of your downfall as a man. You don't have to choose. You don't have to choose your mother or your father, or your mother, your father, or your wife. They both occupy a special position in your life that they are both irreplaceable. But you cannot marry your mother. You cannot have sex with your mother. You cannot sleep with your mother to bear your kids. We are not living in the 10th century. We are not living in the 5th century where you see incense. Incense is allowed when you see children sleeping with their father, just like during Sodom and Gomorrah, when God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. There was a Bible verses that said that the children of Lot, they slept with their father to preserve the lineage of Lot. But this is not the same. We are not living in the 15th or the 10th century. This is the 21st century. So you cannot sleep with your mother to bear your kids. No. But your mother must have even been in menopause. I'm sorry. Before you become an adult, your mother is already in menopause. You cannot get you through. If you know you cannot sleep with your mother to bear your kids, so that's already told you in the first place that your mother cannot take the position of your wife. Your mother is your past. Your wife is your future. The earlier you understand that, the earlier you're able to put your family together. The earlier you make both of them understand that you ain't going to choose your mother or your father or your wife. Both of them have to work together for the success of your relationship. Criticism is welcome, just like I said earlier. This is my position. My wife is my priority. And once we start having children or we have kids, our kids become our priority. Our kids become our priority. That's where I'll rest my case. Thank you very much for following me. This is Chedivi Blog. Do not forget to like my video, comment on my video, share my video, and criticize my video. Thank you. Have a nice day.